DIY gut health. Today with me, I have Anne Criner, who is a naturopath nutritionist here at the Biome Clinic in the Northern Rivers in Australia, where I practice, and we practice together. And the DIY gut health series really has been during this whole COVID-19 crisis for those of you who are in self-isolation or basically staying at home, just some tips on how to help yourself with some of your gut symptoms. 2 weeks ago, we had a great meditation with Sarita Ford from the Biome Clinic, our hypnotherapist counselor. And last week, I can't even remember. What did I do? I talked about something related to do-it-yourself gut health. And I think it was gut immunity. Anyways, point is that we're doing this every Thursday. So every Thursday at 10 a.m. here in northern New South Wales. So that's the same time as Sydney. For those of you in America, check your time zone for that. But it's a great time to ask questions. Also, we used to have a monthly Q&A, but because of these Thursdays for the DIY gut health series, we are just sort of taking them as we go along. So without really further ado, you can look at all the videos in the video library. So check that. If you go to the SIBO Doctor page, you can go there, and there's a lot of other videos that we have for improving, helping you improve your gut symptoms, helping you beat SIBO, helping you beat IBS, and a host of other functional digestive disorders. So that's really what we do, both on the SIBO Doctor website and the Biome Clinic. And so that's really what we want to do, be of service to you. So let me introduce you to Anne. Anne and I have worked together for, let me see if I can do this. I've got to, hang on one moment. I've got to change this here. We'll go there. We'll show this in the stream. Oh, there we go. Hello, Anne.
Hi, Nirala.
Anne, how long have we been working together now?
Just over 3 years, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while. And Anne and I actually, if I see if I can do this.
We did the biphasic diet, the vegetarian biphasic diet together. I think I might have lost Nirala. Well,
Hang on. Can you hear me now?
I can. There you are.
Okay.
Oh, well done. It's in the middle.
Okay. So what I was saying is Anne and I co-authored the vegetarian SIBO biphasic diet. This is the third of the trilogy of biphasic diets. And it was really a labor of love for both of us because we love eating plant-based foods. And it was really a way for people to have a really good SIBO diet without animal products. So that is available for free on the SIBOdoctor.com website, as are all the other biphasic diets. So Anne is a wonderful naturopath nutritionist. We've shared, many of our patients are seen by both of us, actually, and I love it when she takes over the diet aspect of some of my more complicated patients in terms of meal planning and with food sensitivities, etc. And we thought that it would be a great idea for Anne to come on the Facebook Live DIY gut health, and talk about immune boosting foods during this sort of crisis time, really, when people have to stay at home and also with limited food choices, etc. So really the idea is optimizing nutrition during challenging times, but really focusing on immune boosting food. So Anne, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining.
Thank you. Love doing it.
And let me know when I need to go to the next section.
Lovely. Look, I thought it's a really good place for us to start. Is I've had a higher number of individuals who are on specific diets to manage their digestive symptoms, seeing me for nutritional assessments because around the world, some people are having shortages or difficulty actually accessing the foods that they would normally eat. And sort of brought to mind, ways to support not only the immunity, but to support the journey they're on with the foods that they're choosing. If you're having trouble finding, I had one individual who every time she went to shop, there was actually no meat or poultry on the shelf. Somebody else was going, I can't get jasmine rice, and it's the only one I can tolerate. So, talking about managing to utilize the foods we can access. And I'm going to encourage people to consider, if you're on the biphasic diet, maybe visiting that vegetarian biphasic diet and looking at other ways that you can keep your protein up, maybe minimize your animal flesh proteins by taking the portion size down to make what you're able to access spread a little further through the day, and manage to add some foods that will help sustain fullness. Some people, in order to maintain satiety or feeling full and trying to get that break between meals, they're eating quite large portions of chicken or meat or whatever they're choosing to have. So using some of the protein options in the vegetarian biphasic will give you ways to manage the plant-based protein foods that will make them easier to digest, improve digestibility. And the big piece of that is most of those plant-based vegetarian protein options are rich in vitamin A, in the form of beta carotene, zinc, selenium, all sorts of things. Because the lovely thing about nature and food is nutrients don't travel alone. They always come packaged with all of the cofactors needed for our bodies to get the most from them. So, talking about, speak to your practitioner and maybe go, I'm having a little trouble sticking with the diet. One of the big things that came up with, I'm so tired of being locked at home, I'm just eating anything. So the other option is look for some creative ideas to get whole foods in your diet to keep your nutrition up, because it's really easy to grab, the snacky type meals just because you're home, you're bored, and you don't feel like going in the kitchen. So improving and optimizing your nutrition is to look at what you can get your hands on. Get your fresh veg. If you're getting demotivated in the kitchen, when you get home, wash your veg, chop them up, put them in a nice big airtight container so that all you do is open and you grab a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of capsicum, a little bit of some spinach, and it's just throw it in the pan and do a stir fry. Things that make your healthy foods fast foods, because broccoli is high in vitamin C, capsicum, high in vitamin C. A quarter of a large capsicum is 300% of your daily needs for vitamin C. Well, you can put that in a stir fry in one meal. It's not going to be hard to work with your foods to, get your nutrient intake up. Vitamin C, I don't know if anyone else is noticing this. You go to websites, try to buy vitamin C. It's really hard to do at the moment. So if you don't have the luxury of having your vitamin C supplement available, or if you can't get it or it's short stocked, look to your foods. Look to whole food vitamin C. Now, vitamin C in nature comes packaged in fruits and vegetables that are brightly colored. It's rich in bioflavonoids, which are antioxidants. There's actually studies that show that the bioflavonoids improve the duration of keeping your serum levels up of vitamin C. Vitamin C can oxidize in the system. The bioflavonoids actually prevent that, make it more bioavailable. You get a little bit more bang for your buck. So If you can get your vitamin C, look for a vitamin C that has the bioflavonoids in it. Rutin, hesperidin, quercetin. You can get the vitamin C complexes. If you're only taking ascorbic acid or just a solid plain vitamin C in a supplement form, have it near a food. Have a piece of fruit with it so that you get those bioflavonoids, so that you get the most out of your vitamin C for protecting and supporting the immune system.
Yeah, I have a question at this point because, you know, like we always, as nutritionists, or people that work with whole foods and nutrition, there are what I call the RDA or the RDIs, which is what the government, you know, or whoever has come up with those initially. These are the recommended daily allowances for nutrients. But you and I know that the RDA for vitamin C is basically so ridiculously low that it would be just enough to prevent scurvy, which is vitamin C deficiency. So how much would you recommend people, like, so, okay, broccoli is high in vitamin C, you said capsicum, spinach.
Brussels sprouts, spinach,
so how many cups of vegetables, high rich vitamin C vegetables, would you say are sufficient to give about 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, which I think would be probably really good in these times?
Exactly. So a quarter of a cup of red capsicum, a quarter of a cup of broccoli, and half a cup of spinach, you're there.
Wow.
This is what people forget. When I do dietary assessments for those individuals who eat a lot of colorful, fresh vegetables, their vitamin C goes up above 400 to 500%. And I keep going. It's trying to remind people that if you just choose to eat real food, nature has already sort of set that out for us. So it's not sitting down to a bowl of broccoli.
That's very encouraging.
It is
to think that such a small amount of vegetables can really pack a punch when it comes to providing not just the daily allowance, but far above that. So that's really great. We had a question about vitamin C. What do you think about camu camu?
It's look, it's a whole food vitamin C. It is wonderful. If you're using it during this season, this environment that we're in, you probably need to look at, depending on the product you're using, you'd want to be on about a teaspoon 4 to 5 times a day to sort of get you up there.
Okay.
Sprinkle it on your foods.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
You can sprinkle it on your food, stir it in juice.
Nice. Kia asks, would it be the same for kids? And I'm assuming the RDA for kids. I would say, a 5 and a 2-year-old, quarter cup of broccoli is not much. It's not much.
No, it's not much broccoli. So if you can get your kids, but the other piece of the coin is kids will eat fruit. A kiwi, a ripe kiwi fruit is really high in, it's one of the top. Pawpaw, if the kids will eat pawpaw. So I've suggested to a couple of mums, blend up some pawpaw with some kiwi fruit and a few berries and make little icy poles and let your kids be walking around munching on that.
Summer is coming to an end.
Sorry?
Summer is ending, so the icy pole may not be.
Yeah, but not in the US.
Oh, that's true. Yes,
So
and for you Americans, a capsicum is a bell pepper.
Exactly. Okay? But
Capsicum
for us that's right, red peppers. But, kids, you can also make little jellies using agar-agar, blend it up, make little jelly snacks that you can have in the fridge in a little box, and kids are going, I'm bored, here, eat a couple of these. It can go in kids' snack boxes. And in fact, at times like this, to get kids eating more vegetables, I often suggest get one of the glass containers with a sealable lid and put your kids' names on it and say, that's your snack box. You can open it and eat anything in it. And you might put little homemade fruit jellies. You might put muffins. You might put raw veggies. You might put some fruit in it. And the kids can just snap it open, and you're not always... We do all need snack boxes, but it's something that a child can open the fridge, pull it out, and be self-served.
That's good. All right, let's move on to vitamin A.
Yeah.
Two more nutrients to cover, so vitamin A and
yes, sorry.
And I'll take Vicky. I'll ask you a question a little later as it pertains to more sort of general nutrition and other factors. So we'll take that a bit later. But yeah, so tell us about vitamin A.
Well, look, vitamin A is very well known for its protective role against infection and the benefits for gut health. But even beyond that, benefits for its ability to support our antiviral, put the boxing gloves on our antiviral strength. And unfortunately, we can get vitamin A in vegetables, but vitamin A in its active form is most readily gotten from, animal foods. So pate, liver. Vitamin A is quite high in your vegetable foods, so carrots, sweet potato, spinach, pumpkin. Go for the oranges, your yellow capsicum. But the thing about beta carotene is you require a good amount of essential fatty acids in order to convert it in the liver to retinol. And retinol becomes the active version of vitamin A. So if you're not a fan of chicken livers and beef liver, I understand completely, particularly if you're vegan. It's a good idea to roast your veggies in oil if you're going to be roasting them, or when you serve them. For example, I suggest, cooking your veggies, your pumpkin, your whatever, and then drizzling it with pumpkin seed oil, because pumpkin seed oil is high in beta carotene. You can tell by the color. And just having that oil in the same meal will just really assist. Now, if you don't digest fats and oils well, you may want to also put a little bit of, if you can tolerate vinegar, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, take your digestive enzymes with that meal to help you break that fat down if you've got any digestive issues on that level.
I think that's a really good point, because many of our patients obviously do have a number of digestive deficits, and with SIBO, we often see people have problems with bile flow, and so they have like very difficult time with essential fatty acids and all the fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin A. And just want to mention two things about vitamin A. Vitamin A is also really important for the surfactant, which is the sort of soapy film that helps you breathe in the lungs. So it's especially important now, and I think, and it's also really important for the mucosal health of the digestive tract. So vitamin A is really important, and luckily carrots are very much allowed on the biphasic diet. So carrots are in. But like Anne was saying, you need to actually convert the beta carotene to a usable form of retinol. So use these tricks that Anne has just said. The other thing I want to say is people with thyroid disorders often have an extra kind of difficulty with conversion of that food-based vitamin A to the active retinol. So some people do better with actual retinol supplementation, so vitamin A capsules and stuff. Okay, before we move on to the next section, let's go. Pardon?
So zinc?
Well, no, hang on. You were going to say something else there at the end?
I was going to say, for those of you, if you can't get your hands on a good retinol-based vitamin A, another option, if you're willing to do it, is organic grass-fed beef liver capsules. Really useful. And at this point in time, you'd want to have 3 with each meal because it's rich in vitamin A, it's very rich in zinc, and it's rich in the cofactors you need to utilize these foods. Because the vitamin A in a beef liver capsule is going to be retinol.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a food-based option.
Not, can you put it in the comments where people can get that? If you can, not now, but later.
Sure, yeah. There's a couple of really good companies. Ancestral Supplements makes beautiful, really good organic, grass-fed, well-sourced. And then there's a New Zealand company that the name of the product's eluding me, but we can get it in Australia easily. And in the US, it's a breeze. And I've seen Ancestral Supplements on like Amazon and a few other places.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's take a question here. A question: would you recommend eating more raw foods or cooked/steamed, etc. at these times? Great question. I'm going to start out with that just because Anne and I, like I said, we have very similar patients in that we get a lot of people in our clinic that have tried and failed other treatments. And so we see the extreme sensitivity of, I think, what's out there. So what I usually see are people that do much better when they steam their vegetables than if they eat it raw. A normal digestive process can easily handle raw vegetables and it's very healthy. But I think many of our more compromised patients get a lot of digestive symptoms with eating raw vegetables and really can't digest them very well, even though they're touted to have their own enzymes, etc. But I can just tell you anecdotally of the thousands and thousands of people I see and have seen that the majority of the ones that I see do better with steamed vegetables. And there are things like broccoli, for example, that when you steam them, they're actually a little bit more nutritious. And maybe you can address that, Anne.
Well, exactly. Well, one of the pieces of the puzzle is if you have low brush border enzymes, and your brush border enzymes are really critical for breaking down the cellulose. And when you steam when you take a vegetable and you steam it and the color goes brighter, you've just popped open the cellulose bonds and the bioflavonoids have just come out, and that's where the color comes from. So steaming just opens up the cellular membrane in the vegetable, and it actually makes it easier to digest. And if you are low in brush border enzymes, you're just going to do so much better on cooked vegetables.
And brush border enzymes, for those of you who are not in the medical field, they are located on the tips of the microvilli of the shaggy carpet that is the inside of your small intestine. And they are often damaged in people that have SIBO. And I talk a lot about supplementation and support for SIBO in the SIBO Success Plan, which I'll share in a moment. At the end of this, I can tell you that it's a massive sale on it because we want people to educate themselves about their gut.
Exactly.
Now, zinc, one of our favorite nutrients, Anne, right?
Absolutely. Actually, before we leave, I meant to mention, I just thought I'd share my bowl of tea with everyone. This is rose hip, hawthorn, and echinacea tea. Don't forget your teas.
Good
Rose
point.
hip tea it's so easy. You'll keep yourself hydrated. Kids love rose hip tea.
Who knew? Good.
Kids love it. They love that sweet sour. So I just wanted to point out you can support yourself with bowls of tea.
Very nice.
Yeah. And so look, zinc. Zinc, oh God, what does zinc not do? And foods that are rich. Unfortunately, a lot of the foods that are rich in zinc, some people on restricted diets avoid. Nuts, seeds, of those people who are avoiding nuts and seeds, lentils and legumes, dairy, we avoid these foods so often. So at this point in time, if you're at a place where your practitioner says, you might be able to add a few legumes to your diet, that's when I'm pointing to the vegetarian biphasic to help you manage to lower the lectins, lower the FODMAPs, and be able to get these zinc-rich foods into your diet. 24-hour yogurt, a beautiful 24-hour organic yogurt, amazing. 2 tablespoons is your daily is a daily allowance for zinc and for a child. And children will eat. So, if you're up to that point in your treatment, 24-hour yogurt. If you're a meat eater, organic pork, rich in zinc, richer than any other. Salmon, oysters. If you're off in that area, you'll get quite a bit of zinc. I don't know about you, but where we live, the oyster farmers can't. The restaurants are closed, and they're going, "We'll deliver oysters to your door." That's hilarious. Pardon?
I'm not an oyster fan. Oh.
Yeah, but for those people who do, that's an option. But when it comes and nuts and seeds, what's really interesting is Monash University has released a few more foods on their FODMAP acceptable list, one of them being activated cashews, where cashews are normally off the FODMAP list. Activated cashews, when you soak them and dry them, or soak them and have them raw, 10 nuts are an acceptable serving size, and 10 nuts is a really nice serving of zinc.
How much is that? How many milligrams they are in a serving of nuts?
Ooh, I missed that. It went funny.
How many milligrams of zinc would you say is in
I knew you were going to ask me, and it's not on the tip of my tongue. I'll put it up and post it.
Well, the interesting thing, however, so this is where it's not always about A to B to C, where sometimes things go in circles a little bit, because when we are, me personally, when I recommend to my patients to have sort of an immunity diet that is preventative for viruses, I actually say abstain from nuts. Don't eat that many nuts because of the arginine content, right?
Exactly.
And arginine is an amino acid that can promote viral growth. So, we're always a little bit aware of that with nuts. So it's not like we want you to eat tons of nuts to prevent COVID or anything, but just zinc, if you can't get it through food, there's tons of supplements that are zinc, and zinc is also really important for the production of stomach acid. It's involved in a lot of different pathways. It's important for healing leaky gut. So beyond the immunity aspect, zinc has a lot of uses. So, but anyway, so wonderful. Thank you, Anne. This was really helpful.
I'd like to add a mention to the nuts, if that's all right.
Yep.
One of the things I try to tell people, if I asked you to go out to the tree and climb up and pick the almonds and crack them, you are not going to eat half a kilo or 500. You're not going to sit there. Think if you actually were pulling these fresh nuts out and you had to crack them yourself, you'd only eat 4 or 5 nuts. We were never designed to eat high amounts of nuts. So it's small amounts.
Yeah.
And think about how nature provides them. They made them hard to crack on purpose.
Yes. Okay. There's actually David shared Perfect Supplements Australia, a grass-fed desiccated liver capsule. Do you know about that?
That's the one.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And not for the vegans, obviously. There's one question that is more general nutrition, I think, and immunity. Vicky asks, I'm in week 1 of phase 2 of the biphasic restricted, and my recent blood test indicates low neutrophils and white cells mild neutropenia. Any suggestions? So I'll start off by saying that this is actually not an uncommon finding for people that we see that are generally sort of depleted. There's lots of different reasons why your white cells can go down. Sometimes it's more of a sinister reason, like heavy metal toxicity or bone marrow suppression or those kinds of things. But if they're just mild, it can, if it was just a one-time occasion, it could be because you're just recovering from a viral infection. Sometimes it kind of overshoots with bringing the white count down. But if it's consistently low, it can also be due to general protein deficiency. You know, a lot of your immune cells are made out of proteins. A lot of your immune system is made out of protein. So protein, proper levels of protein intake, but also assimilation. So making sure that you can digest your proteins. That would be my first sort of recommendation. How about you, Anne?
Well, to tag on to the protein aspect, for people to get an idea, if you can manage to get 100 grams of, so for example, half a cup of legume, at your point, it would be a quarter of a cup if you of soaked or tinned, you may tolerate at this point. But if you're using just meat, if you're just doing the biphasic, I'm assuming it's meat. So 100 grams uncooked weight of chicken or meat or whatever you're having, 2 to 3 times a day, you're sitting right where you should be with protein intake. Increasing bioflavonoids. So at this point, you're being careful with the amount of vegetables you're having. So maybe a vitamin C complex would be extremely useful to help give you a little bit of an immune boost.
Great. Well, Anne, I knew we could easily fill a half an hour. It's been 32 minutes. I always, yeah. So, look, it's been great. I think we should do this more often because it's so much fun. And people who are listening, you can find Anne Criner here at the Biome Clinic. Just go to thebiomeclinic.com. If you want to find out more about Anne and what she does, we do special nutritional analyses and food sensitivities, and you name it. Anne is great with that type of thing. Now, we are going to conclude. I'm going to hide you, Anne, just a moment. Do you have any last minute words, wisdom, pearls of wisdom?
Well, what I will be doing is supplying some ideas for the recipes of the week that are immune boosters. I've chosen to make them vegan, just to sort of, because everybody can have them, and make them SIBO friendly. So as immune boosting recipes.
Great.
So I'll be putting those up over the next few weeks.
Great. So just watch our Facebook posts on the SIBO Doctor, and also we'll share that to the Biome Clinic page. There was one last question. Why would I have a hard time with glutathione? Flu-like feelings. It could be a thiol sensitivity, Julie. Usually either that or you're upregulating possibly detoxification. Those are typically the reactions that we see. Ask your practitioner. It's very important that, since we can't dispense medical advice based on individual cases, but these are general reactions that we see that are either thiol or sulfur sensitivity, that kind of thing. So, but thank you all. Thank you, Alice. Alice says thank you, and she's very grateful to you.
Thank you, everyone. For joining us.
I will hide you, Anne, just for now. But I just want to take a last moment of saying this is Do-It-Yourself Gut Health that we do every Thursday here on the SIBO Doctor Facebook Live. If you didn't join us in the beginning, basically there are already the weekly sections in the video section of the SIBO Doctor page on Facebook. I also want to share that the SIBO Success Plan is a 8-module course that we created for patients, and we've absolutely reduced it down to cost so that people can help themselves while they're in isolation and really use the time wisely. So thanks again, people of the internet. for your attention and joining us every Thursday. And until next Thursday, take care and stay healthy, and yes, be well. Take care.